doesn't matter if it doesn't work or if it fails, because you're having so much fun doing it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another awesome episode of the Coach Tribe podcast. Today, we're having with us Sarah. Hello, Sarah. How are you?
Hi, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
So excited for today and for all the good information that we're going to get for you and great energy because I know you're full of it. For those that don't know Sarah, she's a career coach with a background in psychology and an accredited personal development coach. She supports her clients to break down the overwhelm, increase motivation, and ultimately help them to find a job that fulfills them and makes them excited to go to work. That is inspiring. Sarah, would you like to tell us more about you, and especially why should people listen to this episode, or how do you find clients through Instagram?
Yes, I use Instagram as my main platform. There's a couple of key ways, really. Well, there's three ways. And I did a introductory business course that taught me a lot of the foundational steps that I've been talking about. And she was brilliant, and she taught us kind of MailChimp and Instagram and all those things. So the kind of three ways that over time I've done through Instagram are DMs, just having conversations. You've got a profile, people know what you do, they start following you, you have a conversation with them in the DMs, and you kind of understand their problem a little bit more, you build a bit of rapport, you invite them to a clarity call, and they may continue to work with you. That's kind of one of the key ways really early on that was taught to me, and also I used, and was sort of before people were like finding my website, and that worked quite well. Quite time consuming, I would say. And you've got to, for me, I'm not always on Instagram, not always on my phone. I'm pretty horrific at texting my friends back. So to then have, try and keep on top of it, especially whilst working part-time, I just kind of realized I'd forget. So for me took quite a lot of discipline, but did work. And then the second approach for Instagram is, for me, I've done lots of videos and like masterclasses that I've promoted through there, and like Instagram stories. So like trainings on stories, and just kind of showing my face, building a lot of trust, building a lot of, what do they say? Trust, know, like, and trust. So they know who I am. So there's a bit of personal stuff that goes out in my stories, a bit of kind of what I do in the background, a bit of who I am, me as a human, not just as a business, especially as a coach. People buy people in this industry, don't they? Like they want to, so I share quite a lot. I'm quite vulnerable on my Instagram account. And the trust kind of is giving educational content. So I will give kind of live mini training series on my Instagram story, which may cover something to do with the reticular activating system, which is a part of your brain. And I might cover kind of what that is, why it's important, and how to work with it in your favor on my stories. And so I'm building my know, like, and trust through my stories and through a lot of the content that goes out. And I used to do quite a lot of like lives and live trainings. And then at the end of it, I'd kind of mention working with me one-to-one, having that kind of building those pillars, and then using it through both stories and through lives. Lives aren't really as much of a thing anymore. Instagram's something I feel like you need to keep on top with. They changed the algorithm, now they don't even do videos, it's all reels. And so it's just kind of keeping on top of that. So that first one then is DMs, second one is then live trainings. And the third I've completely forgotten now I've said that. It must have been the trainings, and then the live stories was separate content.
I think you mentioned after DMs the videos and from a masterclass. I think that's what you mentioned just before the trainings and lives.
So yeah, stories, then I covered it. So stories is then just that kind of consistent, all the time, showing your face, being present. And then the third is then if I've done like specific trainings where I've kind of launched something new, or I've done a real push for everyone to watch it, rather than the more consistent stuff that goes out. And the one thing I'd say with Instagram is it can be a bit of a drainer. You can spend quite a lot of time doing it, putting time and energy into it. And I still get like that sometimes. But then like sometimes something will just pop out and like someone follows you because their friend's been following you and they are your ideal client, your dream client, and then they come and sign and work with you. And it's about doing that work even when you think that no one's watching you, because you just don't know who's watching you. And people who may watch you for ages. I definitely had a client a couple of months ago, and she just was like, I'm ready now. And it was like 6-8 months after she'd been following me, and we'd had a conversation, touch base. And some people just do decide, but they need to build. And, even when I've chosen one of my coaches, I watched a huge amount of her content to really get a sense of whether or not I wanted to work with her. And then when I was ready, I was ready. But where you think that no one's watching and it's like not getting you results immediately, the thing with social is it's time consuming, but it just pays off when you don't expect it to.
I love that. And in terms of getting followers, right? Because you need followers. Did you do any approach, like follow people that were possible clients, or how do you get those followers?
Yeah, there's loads on this out there, isn't there? And I did do, I think when I first started, I'm going to admit it, I'm going to be vulnerable, I did do a bit of following people just to get it off the ground so it looked like it wasn't such a new account. And then I quickly got really bored of that. And then to me, growing them has come from little bits of, I'd say collaborations probably been the biggest spikes in mine that I've seen. I've written for a couple of really big accounts, and I've got courses on, accounts like Womanhood that have got 500,000 followers. And so there's just, you see a jump when they post collaborations from podcasts, other Instagram accounts. That's kind of been the thing that I've seen the biggest increase on my social. Otherwise, it's a bit of a slow burner.
And
me.
When you say collaboration, do you mean, for example, if I post a reel and I put you as a collaborator and then everyone else can see you there when I share the reel, or if I just tag you, or what do you mean?
So the two I've done that I'm thinking of that gave me quite a big following, I wrote a blog for one Instagram account, but I want to say they're in the millions in their following. And then, so when they posted a link to the blog and it was all about meditation, I saw quite a big increase overnight in followers, and I've got like a relatively small following. But there was a big jump when I did that because they posted a link to it, and there was a kind of a carousel maybe of quotes from it or something. And then the other one I've done, I actually have a very short online course that is sat on another website through another Instagram account. They're basically, their Instagram blew up and they've created an online course. And so, yeah, opportunities are very varied in the Instagram field, not so much the newer collaborations of doing that on Instagram. I'm not super clued up on that right now. But I've got, those were the kind of biggest collaborations I've done to grow.
Got it. Just because it wasn't clear for me. So the second collaboration, you did the blog. They shared the blog, your blog, probably in their bio. And how did people find you? Did you have your Instagram handle there, or did they just search for you?
So the Instagram account put a post up with a link to the blog, and I was tagged in that post. So a bit like the reels when you do a collaboration now, but it was a static post and my Instagram handle was in the comments.
Got it. Because I wanted to ask you, because all of these things, there are ways that we can use for ourselves. So I just wanted to make that clear. So thank you so much for sharing.
The Coach Tribe podcast is powered by Pensight. I want to take this opportunity to tell you more about Pensight and how much value it can provide you and your coaching business.
Pensight is an all-in-one platform for coaches and educators that enables you to quickly and easily build a highly credible page and sell your knowledge with one-to-one sessions, group coaching, courses, Q&As, digital products, and bundles. Payments, scheduling, video calling, client communications, and everything else is taken care of.
All it takes is 5 minutes to set up, and it's free. It's the smartest way to kickstart your coaching business. Sign up to Pensight today at pensight.com.
Sarah, I love this Instagram tips, and I think I'm gonna take some of those and apply them myself. So thanks so much for sharing. Now, I know you were mentioning the website and that was a core part of your business initially. Do you bring clients through the website? Do you do ads? How does that work in your funnel? Let's just put it like that.
Yeah. So the website, which was a different thing. So going into the coaching industry, there were a lot of business coaches, coaching coaches, and there, a lot of them were like, you just need a landing page, you don't need a website, which it is each to their own for me, because my website's been amazing. It's been one of the biggest lead generation I've got. And the way that I've worked my website, there's a couple of things really, is friends of friends, right? You've got a massive network. So anytime someone says to me, I know someone, now someone always knows someone that needs your help, right? And when someone says that, I just say kind of either my email, because it's a bit closer contact, or if I just think they can go through my website, they can go through and they can have a read up on it. And it gives them a platform to have a read. Now, it's not very directive in terms of I'm not really pushing, but it gives them a platform to understand what you do. They then might follow you, then you can kind of nurture them into that kind of client through that way, but it's something that they can actually read to start with. That's one way. Another is SEO, so search engine optimization. So I've worked with someone who's massive head of marketing in London for a massive company, and she's been brilliant, and she's helped me write the copy of my content against a couple of keywords so that I'm potentially going to start ranking and people are going to start finding me organically. And so all the pages I've got are optimized to keywords so that hopefully when someone searches career change coach or business coach or I want a new job, that will start to show, my website will start to show on page 1, 2, or 3 in the future. That's a bit of a long game. So not necessarily always going to bring you in the key clients that you're looking for, but is something that once is done, for me, it's done and it's sat there. So it's actually about having something that once I've done that kind of copy editing, and it's then about tracking it. But the hard work is kind of, hopefully, fingers crossed, pretty much done. So I write blogs as well on my website to push that up. So there's constantly new content. Every month I write a new blog on a different topic, whether that's how to be happy in your career, the key process that you need to change careers, how to get out of a toxic workplace, a toxic relationship at work, or boundaries at work. Like, it's really varied, but I run each of those again through SEO so that all of that is constantly kind of working for the website, so that hopefully when someone Googles, I don't like my job, I want help to change it, they find my website. So they're the kind of first two. And then the third is ads. So every approach I've taken with a business over the last 2.5 years has been give it a go and test it. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't, okay. So I've put money into ads at different parts of the business for different reasons, where I've been trying to launch a kind of product, where I've been trying to get one-to-one clients. And I've done loads of testing. And then in about January this year, Google Ads was doing a put 80 quid in, £40 in, and we'll match it by £40. I was like, do you know what? I've got £40. I can test this on. And then I got a client from it, and I was like, oh, my ideal client, really amazing human, who I've worked with over the last kind of 6 to 8 months, massive transformation, amazing case study, amazing testimonial, an amazing kind of life transition. She literally thanked me for saving her life when we finished working together. She was in that kind of space. And that came from just having my ads, because there are lots of people, if you niche enough, I didn't just go into careers, I went into career change because I wanted to help people who felt stuck, as much as helping them move up the career ladder or kind of progress or, be a better person at work. Primarily what I've focused on in the last year is helping people change. And so I made that copy really clear as much as I could in my Google ads. it only took me about 30, 40 minutes to set them up. But I should promo them really. I should have a discount, shouldn't I, with Google? Because here I am talking about them and how great their ads were for me. So I put it up. I wrote the copy for it, and I just tested it for a couple of months. And I just kind of played with, and then I did a couple more ads, different types of copy, tried different few keywords. I did some keyword searching first because I wanted to know what it was that people were looking for, so that I could then write to those words, so that if someone typed in, someone might not be looking for career pivot, but I could have written that in my copy because that's the way I talk about it. So I went back to what are they looking for and did that kind of career search, the Google search keywords that other people were using, so that I could use their language in my copy. And I've been running my ads for the last 8 months now. And so that's one of the key ways that I drive people to the website that works for me. And my copy, obviously, on the website seems to work in terms of, well, touchwood has so far, has worked in terms of bringing them on the journey from knowing that they want to career change, knowing that they think they might want a career coach, to kind of booking that call and actually then having that 30 minutes with me and then going to work with me and being a client.
Got it. And after all of these months, what are some key takeaways? So for example, you just mentioned this really good one, go on Google and search for what would your client would search for, see what they're searching for, use their words in your copy. That's a great takeaway. Any other takeaways from doing Google ads? Some things that you've discovered, some things that you didn't know and really were life-changing?
I would say not so much life-changing as much as each different platform has its perks and its pros and its cons, and it's about trialing them. And I think that's the biggest thing is when I take clients through, I've got a client at the moment, she's a career coach as well. And I'm taking her through, she's just started doing ads, and she kind of, it's all well and good saying you're testing it, but don't quit just because it's hard and you're not seeing results. So, and that's like, I think the main thing with even running a business. And she was like, I've been running it for 3 weeks and I've not had anything. And then there were a couple of things on her website that needed to change because I don't think her calendar had any availability. And I said, well, no one's clicking on that. You're not making it easy for them. So one of the first things is making sure that it's all aligned. So you've done that foundational work so that they can book a call, because it's that you can't just send them to your website and then hope that they're going to reach out by email or something. You need to make it really clear what their steps are that they need to take. So that's one thing, is have an easy process for them. Make it as seamless as you can for them to actually book a call to work with you. That's the first. The second is testing is all very well, but don't quit when you don't think you're getting anywhere. And there's a fine line and everyone's different. It definitely depends on kind of time, energy, and money that you have to put into these things. But when I first started running Instagram ads, I didn't see anything for months, but then like month 3, I might have seen something, and it's kind of working out what your kind of ROI needs to be before you then say, actually, this isn't working for me in my business strategy. But not to quit immediately and throw a little bit at it and be like, it's not working, and say, well, it's not for me, and okay, fine, and take and leave it. It took, I was quite lucky. I might have seen a result within a month, but that could have been 3 months. But even I've got different platforms that I pay to have my profile up. I might convert once or twice out of that, and it's £20 a month. But as long as my ROI on that is a good ROI at the end of the year. So it's about, when you set up, giving yourself a time limit of, I'm going to do this for 3 months. And if I haven't seen any in 3 months, then I'm going to stop. So I ran mine, and I think I said I'm going to do it for 2 months and test it. If I see something in 2 months, I'm then going to tweak it, and then I'll run it for another 6 months and then check back in with it and see what I'm getting from that. So when I first did ads like a couple of years ago, I probably did them for about 4 months and then didn't really see much. So kind of have paused and think I might come back to it, but I'm going to at least give it that run. Gave it 4 months, didn't do anything. Google ads, I gave it 1 to 2 months. checked in with it. It seemed like it was working for me, given it another 6 months, and then I'll tweak it again. And it's just about putting these different steps in and saying, right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give this 4 weeks because that's all I can afford. Or I'm going to give it 8 weeks because that's all I can afford. And then I'm going to check back in with it. And what do I need to see as a return on my investment for this to be worth it? Do I need to cover 1 client? Do I need to cover 4 clients? Like, you know, if I put 500 into ads, but I sign 3 clients at $6,000, whatever that your fees are, that might be great. You know, 500 might seem a lot when you're talking about it and saying, oh my God, £500. I have not got £500. I'm new in business. But if that converts to 2 or 3 clients and you're charging into the thousands, you know, are you happy with that? You're happy with putting 500 in, taking, you know, 5.5 out, plus your time, obviously, and that might work for you. So it's sometimes seeing it as, what do I need to make at the end of it? If I'm going to put money into ads, what do I need to see at the end of it? This is literally just what I've taken from it and the approach I've taken. But I think, you know, how much does it need to cost me? And what do I need to see back from that? And within what time frame for it to work for me? And everyone's different. Everyone's got different budgets and funding. And the only thing I would say is knowing your patience with it is key. And not also to the same point of getting to kind of 2 weeks and being like, it's not working, I quit with the ads, is also not going too far. Because I've probably made that mistake where I have spent so much, and there's actually a term in psychology for this where it's kind of like often referred to as, well, it's not referred to as dead weight. So, you know, if you're like in a queue for something and you're, well, I've spent this long, I might as well wait. That is actually a term in psychology, and not dead time or dead weight, but that's actually a thing in psychology. Now, it's the same with ads. It's kind of, you know, don't spend £1,000 and then think, or like £10,000, whatever your budget is, and then think, well, I've spent this much, I might as well carry on, because that isn't a good business decision. It's not a good decision. It's not a good way to make decisions anyway, for me, I don't think. Because just because you spent so long doing it doesn't, if anything, you've just wasted that time frequently. You've not actually spent it doing anything, you know, useful. And it's not a good way to make fresh decisions in the business.
Got it. And what do you, this is definitely a super, super nice approach. And I like that, you know, like put the time frame on it, define it from the beginning, what success looks like for you. And it's just a test. And that should be the mindset, to test and try and test and try and iterate. And that's it. So really grateful that you mentioned this today. Now, when you do Google Ads, what do you do the ads for? Where do you take the people to?
So I only really have at the moment, so I'm about to launch an online offer, which I'm very excited about. But at the moment, my process where I take them, so someone clicks on my ad, they go through to my website, and they will, I think it goes through to the page that talks to the program that I deliver. So I have one offer, but it's 3 offers really. I have coaching as a one-to-one. I have one-to-one coaching as my package, whether that's new businesses, so for new coaches, for new artists, for new singers, songwriters, whatever, you know, anyone comes to me. But that would be different for an ad. So someone's coming through on my specific ads for career change, I will take them through to the career change program that I deliver as a one-to-one offer, that they can then book, so they can read through what it covers, what's entailed. So I go, my one-to-one offer is a 4 to 6 month one-to-one program for career change. That'll take you through online, like one-to-one coaching. I have handbooks and workbooks, have an online hub, you have access to me, and I cover all of that in the copy in the website. And then on my website, you book a free discovery call, so free clarity call. So there's a top button in my website, and littered through that kind of one page that I send them to. So they go from ad to website to the web page that relates to the ad, and then to book their free half an hour call. And then they can apply for the call, and there's a couple of questions within that. and then they get to automatically comes up with my calendar. They choose a time slot that works for them, and then they're booked in to have a call. So it's very simple in terms of process, which I like, which works
Got
for me
it.
without
And
simplicity.
how come you decide? Yeah. And how come you decided to do it yourself, or was there the option ever to maybe get a freelancer or someone to help you? So yeah, my question is, how did you decide to do it yourself rather than get someone to help you with that?
With the website or the ad?
With the websites and the ads, actually.
So I mean, I was furloughed, so I was technically not really working when I built my website. For me, the decision to do my own website was really easy. I wanted the autonomy, I wanted the control to change it, and I'm currently redoing another business coach's website for them because we're doing a service swap. So I get some coaching and I'm doing her website because she had a freelance web developer do her website for her. Now they put code throughout it, and so she can't change it. And so for me, having my website, I mean, I have since on the platform, I have a website with my offers, I have my scheduling link, I have, download your free and a freebie on there so that people can download and put their email address in. So it's data collection. I have also got pages of just kind of standalone pages that I can sort of sell one-on-one products. I also have a membership within my website now. So I have built all of that just from knowing what to do on my website and building it and learning it. And once, it's like anything, once you've learned to do that skill, like Instagram, once you've learned to post, once you've learned to do reels and edit them and upload them, websites are so simple now. Like, it's actually, for me, it was just quite fun. I actually really enjoyed it as well. I just do it in front of the TV, changing fonts, moving things, coming back to it, being a bit creative with it, and actually having my own style on it and not someone else's. Because when you're building something, you want it to represent you, and that is how you do it. Through my website, how I've done it, because it's fonts that mean lots to me, or fonts that I like, pictures I resonate with. And I think because coaching's such a kind of, you're buying that person, I want to be represented through my website. Also couldn't have really wanted to spend the money on it. Didn't really have the funding to buy a freelancer to do my website, to be honest. I had someone proofread my copy for me. I did a service swap. So I coach a writer and she proofreads my work so that I'm leaning into my strength and she's leaning into hers. So coaching, I know I'm good at it, without tooting my own horn too much. That is where my strengths lie. Writing is not. So I coach her and she proofreads my work, and it works really well because then it's a bit more professional. So it's not, I did most of it myself, but then I've also had, like I said, I've got head of marketing doing some of my SEO. I've pulled on resources as and when I could that was an appropriate place to do it without paying someone just to build a full website for me.
Love that. I love this idea of service swap, and I think so it's so useful. We always try to come up with excuses of why we cannot do certain things, but there are options, and you are talking about one of these options, service swap. Think about your strength, what you can add to people's lives, and see if there's anyone with the skills that you're looking for to swap that with. So I love this approach. And with Google Ads, you said, I think you probably had some previous experience in the past, so maybe that's why it was easier for you to give it another go.
Google Ads are just really easy I found them quite easy to do. I think they're quite simple. Facebook ads and Instagram ads, I have worked with someone. I do work with someone. I brought that skill set in, even though I learned how to do it myself and I know how to do it myself. It's very time consuming, and there's a lot of intricacies that go through Facebook and Instagram ads. Just because you can tailor it way more, you can do loads more testing and all that stuff. I've not delved into that with Google. I've got very, very top line ads. There is probably loads more that I could do with them, but I haven't looked into it because it's served me for the last 8 months. I've just left it to work for itself. So yeah, I've learned myself. That's probably one of the things I've done with a business as a whole. And this was actually a really useful piece of business advice someone else gave me, is it doesn't matter who you hire into your business, just make sure you kind of know it first. So you don't need to know it to the level of other people knowing it, but at least when I'm asking my VA to do something, or I'm asking someone to do some ads for me, I know what I want because I know the system enough. And even when I'm setting up, email journeys, and where I want to tag and split, audiences, I know what I can ask for because I've done that kind of knowledge building. So for me, that's made things a lot easier. But going back to the question, Google Ads, I didn't feel that hard for the ones I've set up anyway. And that's not to say there probably aren't loads of other ways of doing it. Someone's probably rolling around hating me saying all of that it was so easy. It's probably their job. And there's probably so much more to it. And I'm just like, yeah, it worked for me. So I just did kind of what I needed to do.
Well, I want to stress this again, right? So Sarah here, who got Google Ads that work for her, just said that Google Ads are not that difficult. And I only wanted to say this again because, again, we come up with so many excuses. Oh my God, when we hear about Google Ads, what are those? It seems like, you really have to have a job on that, or to know so much about technology or even coding. I would just say give it a go. As Sarah was saying, test it out for yourself, see how it is, or even watch a YouTube video on how they look like, or how it looks like to set Google Apps up, so you get an idea if that's something you can do or not. Now, just before we get to an end with this awesome episode, Sarah, I just wanted to mention Pensight for a second, only because I usually never mention Pensight in our podcast, but you mentioned that in the beginning, you're on a tight budget as a coach. And then you mentioned about Squarespace, that you can book meetings through them and you use them, and then you pay probably a monthly subscription. And I just wanted to tell everyone who's interested to have that calendar booking link in, or a simple page where you can just present your offers, sell your services. They can use Pensight because it's free. It's free to use. You can have a booking link. You can even put that on as a widget on your website, and you don't have to pay any subscription. So I just wanted to bring that up. And of course, many more. Please do explore. But that it was related to our conversation and wanted to put it out. Now, just before we finish, I have a surprise for you, Sarah. I'm going to ask you 5 fire questions. That means 5 quick questions and quick answers. Are you ready for that?
Well, I think so.
Okay, because they're going to be tough questions. I'm just, giving you heads up. Okay, question number 1. If anything, what would you change if you were to start your journey again?
Nothing. I think that everything that...
Nothing can stop me.
Nothing, because... And actually, it's a brilliant question. Someone asked us that in a workshop I was at. And it's like, would you change anything? It's like, no, because I wouldn't have... Without learning what I learned, I wouldn't be where I've got to. And if someone just gave it to me and it was easy, I wouldn't hold it to such high regards, and I wouldn't be as proud of myself as I am, and I wouldn't love it as much as I do, because it would have just felt really easy, and that's kind of not why I've done it. So yeah, I wouldn't change anything. So cliche.
So cliche, but love it. Question number 2. What's one belief that you've changed recently?
Probably something I already knew, but I'm much more, and especially even a lot of the reflection we've done today, is it's testing, and see it as testing, not as it's not working. Because that simple mindset shift will be so profound in the action you then subsequently take. And so to see it as testing. And if it's not working, what else can you do?
Test and fail fast.
Yeah.
Question number 3. Who are you most grateful for?
That's not a quick fire question. Um, I'm actually going to go really broad here, and there's not one. I'd say everyone who's been really supportive, and for everyone who hasn't, because not everyone understands coaching, not everyone understands trying to run your own business and the sacrifices you think that you might have to make. But if they're supportive, that's brilliant because it helps you. And if they're not, that has also helped me. It's helped me to kind of be like, well, I don't care. I'm still going to do it because I know that I'm doing it. It's reinforced my why so much more. And it's made me probably tougher in recognizing and remembering that the change that you can make as a coach is so wild and so amazing that when someone questions it and you have to remind yourself of why you do it, that's really powerful. So not just one person, lots.
Love that. I have to stop saying love that, but I love that. Question number 4. One book everybody should read.
Oh, that's a tough one. Oh, okay, just the latest one I've just finished. Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within. Very uplifting, very motivational. He's such a kind of powerhouse in the coaching industry, and most people have heard of him. And then I'm going to sneak another one in. There's two that I really want to choose between. Tim Ferriss, 4 Hour Work Week, another cliche. He's brilliant.
Gotcha. And the third one, let's put it out.
So Stephen Covey, seven Habits of Highly Effective People. There's a tool of his that I use within my training called the Circles of Influence or Circles of Control. And it's all about your energy and where you're focusing your time. But he covers so much more in that book. It's not very business orientated. It's probably, I'd say, more kind of work and mindset. So slightly very different angles. One's strategy, one's mindset, and one's both.
Perfect. I think it's a good approach to what we're all trying to get to. So I love this recos as well. No more I love. Question number 5. One message on a billboard for most people to see. What would you write?
2 pieces of advice I was given when I set the business up inadvertently. One was from my brother, one was from my sister. And my sister said to me, doesn't matter if it doesn't work or if it fails, because you're having so much fun doing it. And that's actually all that matters.
I'm struggling not to say I love it. This is really good. So this is something that both of them shared with you, because I was expecting 2 different, let's say, quotes rather than one. But this is something you got from both of them.
No, so the foundations was from my brother, who I actually had a business chat with him, and he said, just focus on building those foundations, Sarah. And then my sister, we were sat in a hot tub, having a glass of, having a gin and tonic, and she just looked at me and she could obviously see I really enjoyed this. I love what I do, and I'm super happy I found this kind of line of work. And I say found it, I literally been doing it for on and off for about 10 years. But she said, you're so happy doing it, and actually this is really fun. So it doesn't matter if it doesn't work. Like, you're having so much fun doing it, and that's actually all that matters. So those are the 2 pieces of advice. Yeah.
Well, Sarah, thank you so much for this pieces of advice. They were really uplifting. I really find them inspiring. Now, for those of you who want to reach out to you and find you, where can they find you, and what can they reach out for?
So, as I said, I work one-to-one with new business owners. So if you're a coach out there and you kind of want a little bit more information on the things maybe I've discussed today, you want to explore some ads, anything like that, or just some more, uplifting chat from me. I work one-to-one with clients. And if you go to achievingambition.com, you find my website that I've talked about. You can have a look, you can judge me on it, but you can also click and have a clarity call on there and have a free 30-minute conversation where you can sort of discuss the options. And then I'm Sarah Burrows Coaching, and I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, not so much on Facebook. And those are the main way, the ways to work with me and the ways to contact me.
And of course, if you are going through a career transition, then you know the person. Sarah is the one to help you find your way and create your way, or create your way. Also, she has a Pensight profile where you can find all of her links to all of her socials and much more about her. So you can check that out. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for today. And thank you to all the listeners who stayed with us till the end. This was a great episode and a great, how to say, way to present the pillars of setting up a coaching business. And I do think that you have a solid foundation, Sarah. So well done for that.
Thank you very much. And thank you so much for having me.
I wish everyone a lovely day and see you guys for the next episode. Have a good one. Hope you enjoyed this episode.
We'll be releasing every Wednesday, so make sure to
Subscribe
and rate us 5 stars where you're listening to this show to give others a chance to discover it too.